Hey guys, welcome to the first of what will be a few podcasts here. We want to talk about a little bit about what happened yesterday, day before, yesterday and the day before, and I'm sure you know about what happened. So basically, Crowdstrike caused a massive outage in the IT world, and it was worldwide, and it affected a lot of businesses. First of all, sorry about the AC. It's probably loud, but it's very hot in here. I'll turn the fan speed down. But it's very hot in here. And so we will have some background noise. Yeah, so basically there was an outage yesterday related to CrowdStrike. And what that meant is that, and I knew some people that were personally involved in not only it happening to them, but also in the fixing of this crazy thing that happened. Basically, computers, servers, devices are always patched to mitigate security risks. I'm an IT security professional, so that's part of my job, is understanding mitigating risks. And part of that is when a vulnerability is found in software or hardware, even in Internet of Things, things like your thermostat or anything that is controlled remotely through the internet, maybe your pool pump or things like that. When there's vulnerabilities located, companies will do their best to patch that immediately and mitigate that vulnerability. So what happened was anybody who was a CrowdStrike customer, CrowdStrike released an update to their software, and basically that broke the planet. Why? Let's talk about why that happened and how it could have been avoided. When a patch is released to the public, it is supposed to be tested first by a certain amount of people and released through change control so that these things don't happen. Now, you can't always guarantee that that's going to make everything right, but this was so huge that you would think that this was tested by at least enough people that you would know pretty quickly that there was a major problem with this update. Now, a lot of people, this happened overnight, I believe Thursday night. A lot of people went to bed and got up with this. Your PC ran into a problem and needs to restart. So it would ask you to restart the computer. Then it would go into your PC did not start properly. What do you want to do? You have choices of fixing it, basically trying to automatically fix it. You can go to a command prompt. You can do startup tools. There's a lot of things you can do from that menu. Now, before we talk about that part, let's talk about another thing. These computers, a lot of them nowadays, have trusted platform modules installed, and basically what that means is that there is a lock on the computer that prevents you from booting if something is changed in the computer that wasn't authorized. At the top of trying to do anything like that, you have the problem of you just can't go into safe mode. You can't go into a command prompt because the computer won't allow you to without the key. And this program is called BitLocker, and a lot of places use this, or in other programs that keep the computer from being booted up without a code if something changes or if there's a problem. So a lot of the people that were affected yesterday could not fix what we're going to talk about next, which is how could this possibly have been fixed? This is one of those chicken and egg scenarios that almost was way worse than it was. Someone figured out at some point that this was CrowdStrike causing this outage. Then they had to figure out what was causing it. Meanwhile, people wake up to this and they can't work. Now, if you were lucky enough to have a company that had a Citrix environment and it wasn't infected or affected by this, you could still work because you could use your Citrix desktop and get into the network. That's a second way in for a lot of people. The first way in is through your laptop, desktop with VPN. The second way is through VDI like Citrix. So luckily a lot of people had VDI and could get in at least enough to try to start helping people and figure out and tell people what actually was happening, besides texting on the phone and saying, hey, why do I have this, this blue screen on my computer? So basically the fix was this. There was a driver update made by Crowdstrike, and it was I think it was a .dat file that it updated, and I'm looking for it. I have it somewhere. So they installed new drivers, and that's what did it. It broke a lot of people. And I thought I had the oh, okay, yeah. So basically, there was a file. It was actually a .sys file, a driver file. And it was located in the Windows System 32 drivers directory. So on your C drive, it would be Windows / System 32 / drivers / Crowdstrike. And then inside that folder, there was a file that ended with a 290 that had the number 291 in it. One single file did this, and it had to be deleted. Now, manually, by every single person that this affected. Everywhere. That's how it was deleted. Think about the fact that when you're not in Windows yet, you're not able to be remoted into. The only way you could ever get help with this would be like FaceTime or like Messenger video or whatever, because you're not in Windows yet, so nobody can remote in and delete it. And then also think about the fact that a lot of these people aren't IT professionals, so they don't understand how to navigate in a directory. You have to manually navigate. Now this is Windows 11. It affected Windows 10 differently. You have to open the command prompt, but to do that, you had to have a BitLocker key first, which had to be done by your IT pros. They had to give you the key when you feed them a code. And then you go to secure command prompt in from the blue fix stuff. And then you navigate to Windows System 32 drivers, Crowdstrike, and delete one file, and your laptop boots up fine. For thousands of people. How many employees do big companies have? 15, 20,000 employees had to do this yesterday. The fix didn't get out to a lot of people until well after 9 a.m. yesterday. It wasn't available. Nobody had it yet. So it was just on the news, but nobody understood yet quite what was doing it. So this cost the world a lot of money yesterday. So I expect there to be some kind of fallout from this with CrowdStrike and or Microsoft. Now, don't get it twisted. This wasn't a Microsoft outage. It was a CrowdStrike related outage. And that's why you'll see Microsoft on a lot of the news articles and on the videos. But just remember, this was a CrowdStrike driver that pulled down, half the planet Earth. And it not only did it affect PCs, laptops for businesses, it also affected applications and servers. So if it was patched and it had CrowdStrike, it was definitely a problem. Now this patching happens every day. It's not anything new, and this can happen anytime a patch is applied. But the patches are necessary. Sometimes you can test them, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you don't have time to, but most of the time the patches are rolled out to the enterprise when they're released because of security concerns. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of take, a little bit of time to talk about what happened here with CrowdStrike on Friday morning. And of course, at worst possible time you could have it happen on a Friday morning to half the country. But I kind of enjoy talking about these things, so I'll probably do these more. I'd like to do it with 2 people. I have room for 2 people right here to sit and be on camera and talk. So maybe we can get a guest in here next time. But that's kind of what happened to Planet Earth on Friday morning. CrowdStrike took down a lot of businesses were affected. And so, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to get editing on the next video, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in for the first podcast here. It's a short one because there's not a lot to talk about yet. When we know the fallout, we can do another podcast here and talk about what happened to CrowdStrike and what is going to happen to them as a company in the future. Their stock's already taken a big hit, of course. So let's see what happens. We'll see you guys next time on Supercar Street Racing. Later.